So here we are, round 3 of the Haas Road to Glory series, and in this episode, Portimao. A new track added to the game, and not one that I've driven a lot, but we are gonna head straight into qualifying here, 2 minutes before the timer has run out, and as you can see on Russell's time up there, left corner, he was on the inters. We have gone from a wet setup to a dry setup, and we are the second car out on track right now, with soft tires on. Portimao is a very fun track to drive. It has a similar corner to Imola, which I tend to spin at, but the rest of the track is very, very fun. As we go P2 there for a brief moment, but come to the closing stages of qualifying, we are back where this car belongs, especially on a track with such a long straight. We don't really have the power output in this car to compete in a straight line. We've already taken a 4th engine, so there's no point in doing the same here for a 5th one. I think 4 engines is generally gonna keep us very safe towards the rest of the season. 3 seconds off the pace.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Bottas, Perez, Charles Leclerc and Sainz, Norris, Ricciardo, Gasly and Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Vettel, Esteban Ocon and Stroll, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, George Russell and Mick Schumacher, Latifi and Ellis. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
So here we go then, P20. It's gonna be a dry race to a wet race to a dry race. So it's gonna be interesting and see what we can do. 33 laps, we are gonna fuel up for 33.5 laps. A lot of lift and coast. 5 lights have gone and away we go. Decent start, not a lot of wheel spin. And we are gonna head towards turn 1 here. We get past Latifi, we have a slight lockup on the front left tire, and then, because the AI is so grouped up, we actually managed to get a fantastic dive bomb into turn 3 there, and we managed to put ourselves into P16. We're behind Stroll here, trying not to crash into his gearbox. Put the traction down and we get 2 more places as we have Tsunoda Schumacher behind us. Stroll and Ocon ahead, and yeah, it's not really cars that we should be competing with, but if we can manage to follow them and they drag us along with a long slipstream on the straight, we would be very grateful. This is a very fun corner here. It reminds me a lot of Spain for some reason. So here we go. We try to get Stroll here. Flashing red lights for him. The AI always uses a lot of battery there, but we didn't manage to get it on that lap. Lap number 2. We're heading towards the very same corner here, and we are setting ourselves up for a great launch off of the exit here, as Max Verstappen puts a 1:20 down for the fastest lap. ERS activated, slipstream, and
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within
even with us having ERS on and being in the slipstream, they are still faster than us. But we managed to get the overtake. Slight lock up here as we try to brake the car. I will say the AI is not that good on this track, as it starts to rain a bit now, and the track limits for turn 1 is not good either. You can actually go quite a bit wide and not get a penalty in the first station, as Stroll hit my front wing there. He re-overtakes me, and I think now that it's a bit wetter, you can see the rain dropping. You can see us in the camera view here, re-overtaking Stroll with DRS this time. This time it's a much simpler overtake, and as you can see here on my POV, you can go quite a bit wide there and it doesn't give you a penalty. I think I did that like 3 or 4 times this race. A little oversteer moment before the DRS as Stroll recharges back on us. He's very close to us this time, and I'm struggling to keep the grip really. The rain is coming down, the grip is vanishing. He's on mediums, I'm on softs, and we are 5 laps into this. He has a look to the inside there as we block that off.
The forecast suggests this rain is going to keep getting stronger for at least the next 15 minutes. Dries seem like the fastest tire at the
So
moment.
not really time for inters yet,
Our gap to the car in
as
front
we're gonna
is
see Stroll here.
6.9 seconds. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Stroll takes the inside line, hits us, and then goes into the gravel. We have damage on our front wing, and Stroll then comes back on track, as you can see, and then parks it in the middle of the track. Then the Williams comes by, and I think it hits his front wing. I don't know why he stopped there, it doesn't really make sense.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
We have a light green front wing.
Understood, copy that.
If I remember correctly, in my first video of my team series, Russell did that in Bahrain, where he went off and then came back on track. As we are right now behind our teammates for lap 6. He has overtaken us as we struggle in the rain, and this is gonna be the lap where we say we're gonna take the chance and we are gonna head on to inters. And we are gonna be joined in the pits as the first 2 cars by George Russell. As you slow down, and Haas being the second last pit garage, so you have quite a long while in 80 kilometers an hour. We are gonna change the front wing. We're just gonna lose us a lot of time. I don't think Russell is gonna change his front wing, so that 9-second gap that we had on him is gonna vanish. So he comes out right behind me, and as I am heading out, I have a little moment here where I'm too eager on the throttle, and yet again I go way too early on the power. But it is now full inters conditions. You're gonna see all of the cars head in the pit for inters. But crucially here on lap number 8, you can see Russell's POV. He comes along, and just like Stroll here before, we have a little bit of a fight. I managed to get clean ahead, but then he comes back onto me, hits me, and then spins off. And he is actually gonna be disqualified here, because the game thinks that he is driving towards traffic in the wrong way, when he's just trying to get back onto the track. So Cody's can really improve the track there, and if you have an off there, you need to get yourself back on track. So George has been disqualified. I don't think we got any damage there, but the HUD did show up, so maybe we have light damage. Another little oversteer moment. Lap 21 here. Nothing has really happened other than Tsunoda slowly catching us over the course of 11 laps. We have been quite stable in the rain. We are running a lot of downforce, but that comes at a cost of, well, track speed. One thing that I actually can say as we head into another replay, where Tsunoda does the same thing as Russell, but this time he actually breaks off his suspension and a safety car is out.
Resulted in lots of loose debris on the track. The safety car is being deployed. Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace.
So another safety car here, and it seems that everyone is interested in making contact with us. Lap 22, we are catching safety car, and unfortunately we are not allowed to unlap ourselves, as that system is not existing within these games. So we are stuck behind Perez, we are not allowed to go through, and it's gonna create a very weird situation later on, where, as you can see on the restart, we are gonna get blue flags immediately. But I thought if I have the pace, I might be able to power through and get ahead of blue flag conditions, but yeah, we're not gonna be able to. We hold up Lance Stroll as he's racing us in the middle of blue flags, as we are also trying to let all the other cars go through, as they have already lapped us once. All while still keeping an extra eye on Stroll and Latifi, who we are still racing. But Latifi managed to get through, taking advantage of me letting past the other cars, and our job now is to take some advantage of him having blue flag conditions and maybe try to re-overtake him. Stroll fancies a look on the inside there, but we get the better traction and we head on with our race, still ahead. We are pretty close to Latifi, so even though he overtakes us, he is not going to be able to create that much space. 10 laps to go. Still very much interconditions. Decent traction out of this corner with a long straight coming up, and we have a full battery and it's time to use it. In the slipstream, battery deployed.
Okay, I think the track will be drying out quite soon. Mind you don't burn out your tyres.
As Jeff is hinting that the slicks will be on very soon, we re-overtake Latifi. Very slow right now. It's a very tiring race, this. Especially since this is actually the first time me driving it in wet conditions. I'd only done practice on it in time trial, in dry.
This rain should be ending shortly, so watch those lap times. We may have to pit for dries at very short notice. Inters seem like the fastest tyre for now.
So you're still seeing a lot of spray, and the track does look wet. But with this game, as we skip to lap 27, this game there's actually a crossover point where the track is very wet still, but they will enable DRS and they will let you have slicks in this kind of weather. We are boxing this lap and we are quite a bit slow to this corner, and We have a collision with
Caution,
Latifi.
the virtual safety car has just been deployed due to a buildup of debris on the track. Drop your speed, our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
It seems that everyone just loves finding us in these corners. I'm not really sure. I think the AI is not very good at this track. It was different in Imola, but here they don't really see you, or they don't expect you to be slower or faster on different racing lines.
Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time and there are no plans for a safety car right now.
But we are pitting now for soft tires and a wing. Some people do stay out, but they have an extra lap, so they will pit on the next lap. I will not be able to unlap myself, I don't think. Latifi also pits, as we have yet another moment of me being way too early on the power, and we drive past the white line on pit exit. But it's very much dry conditions here.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online. DRS has been enabled. DRS is now enabled.
It's very, very poor timing for the DRS, as Latifi actually gets DRS on that straight. Difficult moment with the throttle. Another banging of tires with Latifi here. Take it easy on this corner. Very similar to Imola, don't want to spin. Deploying some battery. We power past, and yeah. This is a replay of Latifi, as my DRS is now offline. Same thing as Sonoda. Doesn't see me, doesn't expect me. I can't do any more there. Latifi is out.
Okay, slow down. Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace.
That's another safety car. So far, every single one of the cars that have DNF'd has had some contact with me, and neither of those have been my fault.
Make sure those tires are up to temperature, and remember there is no overtaking until the timing line. Stay in position until the green flags.
So yeah, we are chasing down the rest of the pack, and we are gonna catch them, yeah, right now at the end of the in-lap for the safety car. We got pretty hot tires as we have been pushing, so into turn 1 we should be looking at getting some good grip. 3 laps to go. As we cross the line, we'll have 1 lap to go actually, because we are still lapped. We hit the power, we are still racing Stroll, and we managed to get past with way better grip. And he crashes into the back of us. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars that has had some type of impact with us. As you can see, Ricardo is braking and I brake for Ricardo, and then he runs into the back of me. Verstappen wins this race. We end in P15 and we have taken out 5 other cars basically. Very poor race. Wouldn't want to do this one again.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
And that's it then for the Portuguese Grand Prix. And what a sensational victory they've managed to pull off here. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
I think a note to myself for future races is run a bit less downforce and basically take the hit of having to fight the car a bit more, as long as you get more speed out of it.
Let's see how the driver standings have changed. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
My driver of the day has to be, no question, Antonio Giovinazzi. Such an assured drive from one of the sport's newer stars, and a performance he can be very, very proud of.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
Our new parts have completed without issue. They'll be on the car, ready for the next race weekend.
Well, we basically took out our closest competitors, Williams, and yeah, there's not really much else to say other than hope for a better race next time. Anyways, this will be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. Peace.